What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Thunderdome. So today we have an exciting video as the OTC has seen one of its biggest runners in recent history. Now, it didn't go 1,000% overnight, but it did go from 20s up through a penny. Broke 500+%. Huge merger. So we're going to talk about that briefly. Unfortunately, I didn't get in, and that stock is TXTM. I actually had buy orders that morning. I didn't know how big that merger was or how big it was going to push. So I had buy orders in. I was like, I'll bid the pullback. Nope, that's what happens when you bid. You sit around and sometimes you miss it. And I was like, wow, it's going to have a pullback. The chart's hot. Nope. Kept running 3 days in a row. This thing has just been cranking. So we'll cover that, but we're going to cover two others that will probably heat up heading into next week or beyond, as they both have news coming. Plus, two really, really solid, longer, when I say longer, maybe a month, 2 months style plays. I've had a few people reach out and say, hey, I know you do weekly swings, bi-weekly swings. Do you have anything that, you would set up now, heading into the next month or so? And I do. One of them I really like, and I'm going supersize on it. But, without all that aside, let's go ahead, get the video wrapped up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, shoot me down a comment how your trading's going. It's definitely rocky out there. We had FOMC today and so forth, but there are still ways to win, and that's why we are here. So let's go. Okay, so we've got several to cover today, as I stated previously. But first, I just want to talk about this crazy merger. I haven't even looked into it that much just because I was so sour from missing it. But I am so happy because the OTC needed something like this. To have something run 500%. Not only does it create excitement, it creates sympathy plays, but it also creates liquidity. So the more runners we have, the more money that flows into our market. But this thing, I'm going to look more into it. The mergers, from what I've seen, the valuations are just insane. So definitely follow their Twitter. You could check into it. And they've just been pumping daily. I mean, they're just hitting it. It's fun to watch. But go through, read the OTC disclosure on, what kind of merger it is, as far as cannabis, how many acres, and I mean, just everything behind it is it's awesome to see. But, looking at the chart, this thing is bizarre. 3 rockets sitting over here. We got a couple gaps and so forth. RSI is hot. So it probably will have some pullback. And once it consolidates, I will look into adding it. But, definitely crazy. I mean, it was just exciting to see 3 huge volume bars. So it might gap and go again tomorrow, but, it definitely needs to cool down some. So, I personally wouldn't buy up here, but the fact that it is a penny, it's incredible to see. So I just wanted to cover that one. Definitely will be looking that on a pullback and, to see more about the company and what they're going to offer, how many acquisitions they have coming and so forth. But from what I hear, the merger's huge. So, we'll cover that in another video more often. So we're going to talk about 2 that announced news is coming. The first one is going to be VGID, VGID. Now, the thing with this stock is it loves to break out of trips. So it loves to do, 0012 to 002 runs. I'll show you on the chart here. But, if you're looking here, it says we're working on something huge, hoping to have information to share by the end of next week. So it's not often that V Group announces something huge is coming. And, they announced it on a shareholder call last time. This thing ran to like 0024. So the fact that we're sitting down here at 0006 with no dilution, I'll show you here. And so they said, Quarter 1 report out, 2 months of Happy Hearts today showing, growing fast with no dilution at all. So we have a trips play with no dilution. You can see the accumulation is rock solid. I mean, it's just ready to go. So it busted through 821 and it even cranked through the 50 MA. And so now it should find new support at 0005. But being that they have huge news coming at the end of next week, I'm expecting it to climb. So first stop should be around trip 8. If we can clear that, going into there, I mean, sky's limit 0012 to 0018. So I don't know what kind of news they're going to have, but, just looking at the actual market cap itself, this thing has a $1.5 million market cap. It's in trips. It doesn't have dilution with big news next week. Like, yeah, I grabbed 5s, I grabbed some 6s. So keep an eye on that one. Like I said, if they announce huge news, this thing will just run for days. But we don't know yet, so a lot of speculation, and everybody knows I love speculative plays. So the second one I'm going to cover is RMRK. So I actually got into this one late. I got in today. And I'm not sure if it's sympathy from the TXTM run, whether, marijuana, CBD players, whatever they are becoming hot. But, they've stated before, no dilution, no reverse split. Great. And then they have potential acquisitions, so several. And then, go through here June 2nd, as indicated, our news release company is currently conducting due diligence on various acquisitions. We expect the DD to be completed shortly. So that was about 2 weeks ago. Shortly, and will update shareholders accordingly. Stay tuned. And then here they put is working very hard to provide value to our shareholders. We believe in transparency. Additional information will be provided soon. Stay tuned. So that was an hour ago. Well, that was today. And, so the fact that they don't have any dilution, there's no reverse split, and this thing just was ripping today. Looking at the chart here, accumulation spiked up hard. MACD looks great. Now, this is the first volume bar. Normally, when stocks like this, they have, whether it's news come out or the company update says soon we're going to have acquisitions and, whatever that's going to be, usually we have a second day and or third day. So I wouldn't be shocked to see this push again tomorrow before consolidating. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. But as you can see, it broke out of the cup here, just complete rocketed. So when will they have news? I don't know. It says stay tuned very soon. They've said acquisitions. There's no dilution. So retail's in control of this. Had a awesome volume today. So keep an eye on that one. I really liking that one so far. Follow the company, their Twitter and all they're trying to do and so forth. Now, the two longer ones I'm going to get into, one, especially with, cannabis being hot from TXTM, is IGPK. So this thing, let me pull up the chart here. It's ran plenty of times before. They're I'd say they're a little bit slower of a company on getting things done, but I think they're close. So as you can see, just completely crushed here. They had an AS increase for their acquisitions, and then you can see it cupped, and then now it's going to create a handle. So for me, and I'll show you why, I'll probably sit around 0021, 002, maybe 0019. But, I'm looking for accumulation to start going up. As you can see, lots of nice green days. Now, the thing about this one is everybody keeps talking about a super 8K, like just a lot of news that's going to come very similar to TXTM. If they have a huge merger, huge acquisitions, this thing is going to go ballistic. So, make sure you follow their Twitter, check them out. As you can see, IGBK is pleased to an inventory rollback completed within acceptable variance, release an update. So they love to do updates, but they're working on this audit. And they said here, the audit is running a few weeks behind. That was back in May. And then they stated today, June 10th, there will be a video meeting of an audit team consolidating their CPA and consultant, say goodbye to shell status. So they're going to get rid of their shell status. And from what they say, the audit should be completed by the end of the month. So I'm expecting IGBK to really start gaining steam in July, especially if that Super 8K comes, the acquisitions start hitting. From what I've heard, there's 2 very large acquisitions coming into this company. So, they take a little bit longer than usual, but that's why I said, I've had a few people reach out and say, hey, Chase, do you have anything longer? Because I work full time. I can't watch the swings daily. What can I start buying at bottom now that has big news coming? That way, my investment can sit for a month and can watch it gradually slowly go up. And I love that. I do that all the time. Buy it early, just completely soak the bottom. And when we talk about soak the bottom, it means to accumulate. So like I've stated before, you don't just go and buy 3 million shares and say, oh no, now it's going down. Every day, just sit bids in, until it goes, 019, 0017. It might have a red day and then you caught some really low target shares. So I'm definitely going to start accumulating this one. 2 acquisitions coming up. They did have an AS increase, but chart looks good. Accumulation's looking pretty good. They're working on the audit. So, I won't go crazy into this one, but, just looking at the chart itself, I love it. Looks great. Lots of green days. So once we look for some consolidation in this area, we'll probably channel between 002, 0028, 0026 for a little bit until news hits. But I think that one's pretty cool, especially with all the cannabis plays that are heating up. Now the last one, this one I'm going supersize on, and I'll tell you why. So I give myself 30 days. So stated from their last PR, it's IFXY. They've stated that the merger is finally going to close the middle of July. So we are now sitting in the middle of June. So we have about 30 days, and this thing is rock bottom. So right here, boom, triple bottom, wick tier, sitting down here around 0025. Accumulation is at all-time high. If you can get an OTC stock that has accumulation at all-time high, it has its bottom, triple bottom, and it has tons of news coming in July and forward. Like, this is the one to go big on. So I'm going big. So I'm going to accumulate mid-20s until they aren't mid-20s anymore, and I'm just going to sit back and ride the wave. Now, this company was a shell, and it was acquired by this guy right here, Jose Pineda. And, basically what he's doing is he's bringing in various companies. The first one is Mi Pulpe, and they are already doing 20 million in revenue. He is saying he does not need to dilute. They have plenty of money, like nothing to worry about. And he also has fintech companies. He has, various companies. We'll get into that at a later date. So I'll create another video at another time of just pure DD on this stock, because this one I think is just in the second half of the year could just bring huge gains. I'm talking, you buy 20s, this should be a penny runner at some point. So big ham, I'm doing it. I don't know exactly how many yet, but I'll keep accumulating because no dilution. It's around, the float and the insiders, I think preferred shares are like 2.8 billion. So there's only about 2 to 2.4 billion shares in the actual float or DTC that can be traded. So now that it's sitting in 20s, this thing is awesome. So I encourage you to look at their old PRs. I'm not going to bore you and read them all to you. Follow the company, look at what they're doing in the communication. So the merger's taken a little bit longer than expected, but, closing mid-July, we have 30 days. So I'm buying up all the 20s. I know others will be too. But, check them out. Check all the others out. Like I said, just to recap, really excited for this one. I mean, just to create some liquidity in the OTC. Then, we have VGID. They said huge news next week, sitting at bottom. Trips. Trips love to bust out. And this thing has ran out of trips more times than I can count in the past year. So, same thing, 1.5 million market cap. So this is the X Factor MRMRK. Got huge volume today. Should, move until tomorrow. Might consolidate. But, just keep an eye on that one. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.